Hi, I'm George, TSG's Open Content Product Manager. In this short demo, I'm going to compare how the contributor components in the Alfresco Developer Framework, or ADF, compare to the Open Content Management Suite. So just a quick disclaimer, the ADF is a development framework, not an application, so you really can build whatever you want. In this case, we're going to take a look at Alfresco's demo shell application, as they call it. Now, this application isn't meant to be production ready. It really just shows what ADF can do. It's kind of more of a developer resource rather than a finished product, but it at least gives us a good idea of what components the ADF has. So here I am in the demo shell application. So I'm just going to log into Alfresco. And this content services section up here is what we want to look at. So this is built just to show my personal files home folder. You could of course build this however you want to go into any number of folders, or to allow the user to browse a tree, or maybe you take them directly into a folder. It's really up to you, whatever your application calls for and how you want to build it. So there's a number of developer-specific features here we want to enable. So I'm going to go ahead and enable multiple file upload, and I'll also enable versioning. Obviously, this is something that you would do in a real application. You would just do in the code rather than here. So rather than show this upload file, I'm just going to scroll up here, and we're just going to drag and drop a couple files. So I have in my Windows Explorer, I have an email file as well as a Word document. And I'm just going to drag them in, and we can see, much like Alfresco Share, it just immediately starts uploading the documents and places them in the folder. So while this interface kind of seems pretty slick to at first glance, we're kind of missing some things. Like, what about if the user needs to add metadata to the documents during the upload, or what if they want to be able to control what type these documents are? Now, you could of course build that in the ADF, but there's really no out-of-the-box component that handles that scenario. There's also no out-of-the-box component that will upload a document from a template. You would have to build that as well. So if we double click the welcome template document, we're taken to a document preview page that previews the document. What's kind of interesting here is that there's really no checkout action that we can see. I do have a download document action, but we don't really see a checkout action. There is this sort of lock, and at first when I was looking at it, I thought this was similar to checkout. That really just puts a lock on the object and doesn't allow anyone to edit the properties or the content, even the lock owner. So we're just going to go ahead and execute a download, and I'll do it here from the table. And we'll download it to my local, and I'll just go ahead and open it up in Word. So I'll just go here and add a quick update. And save it. And then now we have a manage versions action where I have a button here to add a new version. And unfortunately, I don't see a way to drag and drop in here. I simply have to click this upload new version, find the document and click it, and then click open. And then now that's going to create a new 0.2 version of the document. So again, these are kind of the out-of-the-box components. If you wanted to build a more seamless sort of check-in, check-out integration, you certainly could. It's just you would have to build that rather than it being available out of the box. Alfresco also does have edit online capabilities, but I do not see a way to do that within ADF. Perhaps that is something they will add in the future. The last thing we're going to take a look at in ADF is the ability to edit properties. And we can do that in a number of locations. Here we can just use this info to pull up this interface, and I can view the properties. And then if I click this pencil, the pencil icon will appear next to properties that I can change, and I can just go ahead and make a change here, and that will edit the properties. We always like to show the ability to view the content alongside the properties, And the ADF components, or at least how they're laid out here in this demo shell application, do allow for that. So here I'm looking at the document, and again, I have my info, and there's a number of options in this details, but one of them is properties, and I can go ahead and make any changes to properties here as well. Again, similarly, just clicking the pencil and adding my version or my properties. So now I'm going to switch over to Open Content Management Suite, and here I am in a policy folder in Open Content Case, and I have a document in there, and we're going to follow similar steps to what we did over in the ADF demo shell application. So the first thing we're going to want to do is add some documents, and I could click select and bring up the browse button, but I'll just go ahead and grab this same MSG file and drag it over. And one thing you'll notice here is that we, in OCMS, smartly pull off any attachment. So rather than just the MSG, I'm going to be able to index the attachments as well into the policy folder. And for the Word document that we were working before, we can actually do that as a template. So I'll just switch over to underwriting document and just choose this new policy welcome template as my document I want to upload. So in OCMS, we take a little bit different of approach as what we saw in ADF. Instead of immediately starting the upload, we allow the administrator to configure some options to show to the user as far as the type, and in this case, all of these documents are going to be one type. The user doesn't get to choose, as well as metadata. And a lot of our clients, this is very important that documents get indexed properly as they come into the repository. So this page is going to apply properties across all of the documents that I've chosen to import. And it's also going to smartly pull over some properties from the case folder itself. So I don't have to rekey in policy number, policy year, policy holder. They just get pulled over automatically and apply to all documents. I could on this screen apply a certain tag to all of these documents. In one shot here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and set a different tag for all of these documents. So again, now I can step through each document and I can see the document itself and make my property updates while I'm looking at the document. So for this email, I'm just going to call it correspondence. And for this report, I'll just do reports. And I know I'll go through these kind of quickly. For the financials, I'll call it investigation. And I'll just throw the template in the correspondence as well. So I'll just go ahead and upload. That's going to upload all four of those documents at the same time into the case folder. So we can take a look at in the view all documents, the documents that were uploaded. And I can also see them split out by tag in this tree view over here on the left. So now I'm going to go ahead and just view this welcome policy template. And we'll just go through similar steps to what we did in ADF. So we do have a checkout action where I can go ahead and check out this document. So I'll go ahead and do that. So not only is it going to place a lock on the document, but it's also going to automatically initiate and download to my local machine. So again, I'll just go ahead and open this up in Word. And I'll just go ahead and make a quick update here. And we have an option here to check in. And I could choose the file, or I could pull up the folder and just execute a drag and drop. So I'll go ahead and submit. And then this is going to create a new version and check in the new contents. So there's my updates. We also have the ability to edit documents directly in the browser, either through Google Docs or Office Online. So one other thing I'll show here is editing properties. So our view properties action by default will execute at the on the right side, so I can look at the properties as well as the contents of the document, make any changes that I want. and save the properties. Well, that's it for this comparison video. Be sure to stay tuned to the TSG blog in the coming weeks. We'll be diving into more comparisons between ADF and OCMS. Thanks for watching.